Chef Diana from Lancaster Local Provisions. Today I'm making a savory beet, green, and ricotta pancake. So first we need to prepare our greens. I'm going to be using both beet greens and kale, so I have a bunch of each. These are fresh packed beets. I'm so excited to have them in the market box right now. And they're actually grown for the greens, not for the beet. So if you see how tiny that little beet is? That's the beet that grows on this. So this is actually a really ancient variety of beet, which I'm really excited. So all I'm going to do, I need a colander, is I'm going to take the greens off the stalks of my beet and my kale. So the easiest way to do that is to just sort of pull. And you can cook with the beet, the little beet roots. But for these, I'm using it, and all I'm doing is I'm just sort of firmly but gently sort of pulling the leaves away from the stalk. This is a fun project for little ones in the kitchen to do, because no knives are involved. It's very satisfying. So what we're going to do is we're going to slightly cook our greens before we put them into our cake batter. So I have a pot here over medium-high heat. And I'm just going to wet my greens to rinse them off. And then, while they're still wet, we're just going to cook them in there for just a couple minutes, just so they get tender. You don't want them to be really toothy when they're in your fluffy, delicious ricotta pancakes. You can use any greens. You could do this with all kale. You could do it with, beet greens from a bunch of beets that you're going to eat the roots on, collards, any sort of braising green like spinach that's growing on a stalk, anything like that. So I'm just rinsing off to make sure that we don't have any dirt on our leaves. Shake out the water, and then I'm going to put them wet into my pot. And I'm going to close the lid. We're going to let that wilt for a couple minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to combine my, here's one. I'm going to combine my other ingredients. So, I have my 1 cup of flour. I'm going to put a dash of pepper and a good teaspoon of salt. So my salt, and then a nice bit of pepper. That's a nice sprinkle. Then I'm going to put baking powder. Of course, I put that away. So I'm going to add about a tablespoon and a half of baking powder. This is very important. This will help our beautiful pancakes become nice and fluffy. And that's it. So I'm just going to blend those ingredients together. And then I'm going to whisk together my wet ingredients. So I have milk. I need 3/4 cup of milk. I'm so excited. I just got this. I love it. I love all this green depression glass. Now you see some chunks flying. That's because this is cream line milk. So there's actually a cream topper that comes in this milk bottle. Check out our marketplace. It's probably some of the best milk I've ever had from Ricotta Dairy. So I'm going to put that in. I have a cup of ricotta in here. And I'm actually going to whisk my paprika or my harissa blend into the wet ingredients. And they can sort of steep the wet ingredients a little bit. And you know what? I want to check in on our greens. They're looking good. They're starting to wilt. We'll let them go for 2 more minutes. We're going to take them out. Okay. So I'm breaking up the ricotta with the milk. You can sort of see that. Looks great. Sort of pink with the paprika. So I like using harissa, and harissa is just a blend of peppers and paprikas, smoked and sweet. So you can substitute in paprika if that's what you have in your pantry. So then I have 2 eggs, 2 whole eggs. And then I'm going to put a nice glug of oil. Of course, I'm out of my favorite sunflower oil, but I'll have to use some olive oil instead. So it's about 2 tablespoons. I'm going to whisk that all together. And that looks beautiful. It has a nice sort of yellow tinge from the eggs. I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to rescue my beet greens. So you can see they became a much smaller mass of greens just in a couple minutes. Right there. Oh, they're beautiful. They smell really good. A little bit of pink in there from the beets. And I'm going to put my nice big nonstick pan. I'm really a nonstick pan person when it comes to pancakes. Any type, savory, sweet, whatever. Just makes life easier. Why make life hard, So let me set this aside so you can see. So we have our beautiful greens. How gorgeous are those? And I'm just going to chop them up a little bit. So we have smaller pieces. Lay them out so they cool off a little bit. But I sort of have asbestos. And it smells earthy. I mean, this is not a sweet pancake by any means. But it's delicious. So, you want everything to incorporate really nicely into the pancake. So that's why you're going to chop it into the smallest pieces within reason that you can. So that's looking great. It smells of the earth and spring to me. Fabulous. Okay. And it's not in my original recipe, but I'm just looking at my spring garlic, and I think I have to include them into this recipe because they're so delicious. I'm just going to take the outer peel off, or the outer layer. Peel the outer layer off, and then I'm just going to chop like you would a scallion. Oh, they smell like garlic. I love ramps, which is like a wild leaf garlic. These are cultivated though. Oh, so good. I'm so happy we have these ingredients in the marketplace. Okay, so I'm going to combine all of these together to make my batter, and then we're going to fry everything up. Okay, so I have my dry ingredients. I'm going to get that in my batter. It's looking good, getting nice and thick. You could add curry powder to this, that would be tasty as well. Now I'm just going to incorporate my yummy, yummy greens. So beet greens, are very similar to Swiss chard. So anywhere that you would use Swiss chard, you can use the beet greens. I love doing a layered frittata with that as well, which is really, really fun. Okay. Do my rubber spatula. And you can see this is just such a, this is just so beautiful as a batter, and it's just going to be so delicious as our savory pancakes. Gorgeous. Okay. Looking fabulous. I think I'm going to use butter to fry these today instead of my sunflower oil. Okay. So, I'm going to make them sort of like little silver dollar pancake sized. I don't want to make them too big because I want them to be sort of like little bellinis. So I'm going to melt my butter in my pan. Hopefully it's, oh good. If it immediately sizzles, then your pan's too hot. So I'm just going to melt this around. Get it to like a nice medium heat. And then I'm just going to scoop. This is a 2-ounce scoop. So like a 1/4 cup. I'm just going to do a nice little pancake. I'll probably put 3 at a time here. And it's not too similar to like a regular pancake batter. It's not going to all ooze out like when you do sort of a sweet pancake. It's going to sort of stay together because everything's clinging to the greens. And now we're going to be patient. So this is something you can make ahead of time and just heat everything up in the oven or keep it warm in the oven if you're having a party. Like for Easter, this would be a really nice appetizer for Easter. But basically we're just going to brown them on both sides, cook them about 3 to 5 minutes, flip, and then cook them again. Alright, so I just finished all of these beautiful beet green and ricotta pancakes. I'm pulling out my last 3. So I cook them 3 minutes aside. I always set a timer when I'm making my pancakes sweet or savory. And they are just so delicious. I had to have a sneak taste earlier. You can coat them with anything, you can top them with anything. I mixed up some organic yogurt, plain yogurt, with a little bit of lemon juice. You can also, we have a great recipe that has the spring garlic and some cheese combined with butter, which would be really delicious on these. You could top it with a fried egg. You could put whatever, put a goat cheese on top, a chutney, really anything that sounds good to you. I would even go so far, you could put the pickled red onion on top of these, or pickled beets or turnips that you've done in the past. But they're just so good. They're like this great savory pancake. They're so light. You can freeze them. Once they've cooled, just put them in a bag, freeze them, and just pop them in whenever you want to have savory brunch. They're so good. You can even, if you wanted a more savory element, you could fry them in bacon fat. That would be yummy. Or coconut oil if you want sort of a coconut feel. They're so good. Okay. Delicious. Excuse me. They're so good. Again, this is our savory beet green and ricotta pancakes. I'm Chef Diana from Lancaster Local Provisions, and I hope you try this recipe. Happy cooking!